We'll open up with a couple comments about practice. I thought today was probably not our best day. I actually thought Saturday was our best practice so far this spring. I thought we had great energy Saturday. It was practice 6. It was good weather, crisp offense, defense, really pads popping. But today was the first day that I thought we were dragging a little bit. Practice 7, I didn't think we got the enthusiasm we needed. A little windy, but we didn't connect on some things offensively. Defensively, we were sloppy. A lot of the freshmen kind of hitting a wall, not able to process the information. We're also at the end of the install, so kind of the end of the install, we start all over again today and start reinstalling everything so they can pick it up. But I'll open it up for questions. I will comment on Brenton and Robert Beal. I was made aware kind of right when we were going to practice about their situation. You know, obviously extremely disappointed. I've obviously done a poor job with this group of connecting and making sure they listen and understand things. Obviously we have policies and rules in place. These guys violated those policies and rules, and they'll serve the punishment that they deserve for it. And I hate the decisions they made, and they've got to learn as young men that you can't break the rules, you can't break the law. And obviously our guys have not done a good job of that, and that all falls on me, and we're going to do a great job of moving forward and trying to get these guys in the right place and make good decisions. I will say this, we got 90% of our team that we have the least number of misses, least number of tardies that are doing things right, and I'm very disappointed in the 10% that have not. Yeah. I always say that, and that's really important. The sad thing is I really think that we've got great leadership on this team. I don't think a lot of our good leaders on this team can control some of these situations, and I think they're disappointed. I think they're frustrated. Spoke to several of the guys that are on the leadership group after practice today, and they're very frustrated and upset, as we are as coaches. But I can't sit here and say that we don't have good leadership on this team, because I'll be honest with you, at practice, the energy, the enthusiasm, a lot of the guys that are in that group have been better than in years past. So I'm excited about where the leadership is. I'm just extremely disappointed that we've got guys that won't follow the rules and the law and make good decisions. And if they don't, they're not going to be here. So they're going to have to make good decisions.
I was going to follow up that. I mean, as a coach, what else can you do? And what kind of questions you ask yourself? And not Kirby Smart do this.
Well, I think the biggest thing is you say, all right, what's your selection process? What's your criteria when you go to select players? You want to get guys of high character that make good decisions. You also want to get guys that lead and want to be part of this organization. And we tell guys all the time that this is a privilege. It is a privilege to be part of University of Georgia football. I saw Robert Edwards and Terrence Edwards out here today, and to see both those guys, they can speak ad nauseum about what a privilege it is to be part of something bigger than yourself. And I don't know that some of our guys realize that. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes you don't realize it until the privilege is lost. Sometimes it takes a catastrophic event to change your course. And what I'm talking about catastrophic event is losing your privilege of being here. And that's unfortunate, but we're going to follow our rules and policies on these guys and move forward. It doesn't change when it's against the law. I understand where you're coming from, but it doesn't change when it's against the law, it's against the NCAA rules, and every player on this team knows that and understands that. Don't know much. I just know that they were both charged with the misdemeanor possession of marijuana. That's about all I know right now. Yeah.
I assume that's all three things. How do you measure that?
Well, it's not. The assumption about all three phases is probably not correct. We've made it about defense for Havoc. Now, offense has their goals, and there's a lot of goals there, and we got to get some guys that can catch the ball consistently, make plays downfield. I mean, the biggest part we haven't seen of this team is experience at receivers. So let me go back to the Havoc. Havoc for us is the percentage of plays that you cause a ball disruption, a turnover, a tackle for a loss, a PBU. So what we've done is every day in the defensive meeting room, we ask a different guy to stand up and give the definition of Havoc. So everybody in that room, from the highest ACT, SAT to the lowest, he's got to stand up and give us what havoc rate is. And if they understand what it is, they know we're trying to cause it. And then we feel like we should have 20% of the plays. 2 of every 10 should have a ball disruption, a turnover, a PBU, a tackle for a loss. So we're charting that. And I don't know, maybe our charters are just liars, but our offense makes it look like we're not causing havoc, and our defense looks like they are causing havoc. So we probably got to get a statistician in here to balance it out. But I do think we've created more negative plays, and we've been really aggressive this spring at trying to do that. Coach Lanning, Coach Schumann have made that a point of emphasis. So that's what havoc is for us. Yeah. All right, I'm thinking that to get in the playoffs as the future goes, I don't know whether they'll ever expand it. That's not for me to even kind of divulge on, but I do think that you're going to need a quality of schedule to do that. I think that there's going to be 2 lost teams in the future if they've got a really tough schedule that'll be able to make that. I also think at the University of Georgia, you should be able to recruit the finest, best players in the country out of your own state and across the country because our academic institution is so highly thought of. So I want to have the best players. I want to play the best teams. Kids come to college to play big games. They don't come to play, I would never name anybody, but they don't come to play anybody, the Sisters of the Poor. They want to play the best teams. So we want to go schedule the best teams. Unfortunately, you can't schedule these games but 7 to 10 years out. And that's so frustrating to me because I can't think about 7 to 10 years out. I'm trying to think about tomorrow and this year, and you're having to schedule way in advance. But we thought 3 Power 5 opponents, non-conference, would be not groundbreaking, but we thought it would be a new thing, and we're not afraid of that. I'm not afraid to go out and play. I mean, you look at the NFL teams, and I know those are different players, but they play 16 teams in a season that are all good. There's no cupcake in the NFL. They play back-to-back-to-back quality opponents, and we want our fan base to get that. We also want our fan base to get potentially what might be 7 consecutive home games, non-conference Power 5 opponent. And we're trying to get that lined up for them and play some good rivalries. I think it's going to help us in recruiting. I always do. And I like playing in Atlanta as well.
So you want 2020 to 2029 year for Power 5? You want that every year?
Do I want it every year? It's going to be hard to do in 2020, 2021, 2022. Why is that? They're already set. So what we're trying to do is schedule that out. We're not running from Power 5s. We think that that's going to be the lay of the land. I think that the fan and what they're asking for and the ticket prices they're paying, they want to see those kind of games. And, I mean, the SEC's brutal. I don't think anybody would argue it's the toughest league when it comes to week in and week out. Now you're going to add 3 games on top of that. I think that with 85 scholarships, that remains, that you can put a quality team together and you can go play those kind of teams and you can build yourself. They've proven that the later games in the year have more impact on who makes the playoffs. So if you can get a Power 5 team, non-conference, late in your schedule, I'm talking about late being the back 4 or 5, you've got a chance to spike and send yourself into that conversation. He's done a hell of a job. It's been interesting. I recruited Walter, so I got to see Walter run the ball at Cairo, and we just said, hey, who on our team right now can help our team the most at tight end or running back? And I saw Walter run it. He played a lot of tailback in high school, and we recruited him even when I was at Alabama as kind of a either or, and he's really bright. He picks things up, he catches the ball out of the backfield well. He's big, but he's done a good job back there. It's an experiment, I would say, more than anything. Look, Walter's bright. He's been in our system defensively. He can sit in our meetings defensively and know what to do. So when we install something new, he meets with his coach individually. But when he's learning the offense, he's with the offensive guys. So he's kind of doing both. James is not 100%. I mean, James is a tough dude, man. He's coming off the ankle injury. He had the surgery repair. He's not hitting his GPS marks that he was before, but he's not complaining a bit. He's taking his kind of quota of reps. He's running the ball. But I mean, he was electric last year in practices and especially in fall camp. He's not, I mean, he's just not 100%, but we're not tackling him either. You know, he's catching the ball out of the backfield. I mean, he's talented. He's just, I mean, I would say he's probably 90% right now. He's just trying to get back comfortable. Yeah, I think I mean, that, and you add James Cook into that equation, and then you got the freshman coming, and you got Zamir hopefully going to be healthy, and we think that we have a stable of backs who are all really good receivers out of the backfield. And I'm not down on the receivers, don't get me wrong. We just the biggest drop off right now on our team, you compare it this year to last year, the biggest drop off is probably at receiver for obvious reason. There's 3 guys that were at the combine that aren't out there. And I think D-Rob has made some plays. JJ made some plays today. Tyler Simmons has been very consistent. We just don't have, I mean, the guys that we're counting on to be our depth are somewhere off in Atlanta or Louisiana right now. He's more comfortable in the system. I think he knows the routes better. He knows how to beat a guy now. He's not just thinking about what to do. He's caught some deep balls. I mean, he's played better. He's played a little more physical too, and I think he's growing as a player.
Concerning the portal, I just have a question. So when you're talking about how you guys handle the portal and everything, how has it changed, if anything, the way you guys go about player personnel, especially when you're looking at who you might be able to add and help your team?
Well, we haven't changed much. I think that we look at the portal and say who's in it, and you do it by position, and we say, all right, we need a tight end. We'll evaluate the tight ends that are in the portal, but to be honest, at our level, it's tough because I mean, we're pretty high up there on the food chain when it comes to getting players. As far as like we need a really talented tight end to be better than or a really talented wide out. So we'll look at it, but it's not something that we've actively had to do. I mean, we have people that look through it and check it each day, but it's not like we're sitting here saying we're going to pursue this guy or that guy because there's nobody in there that we're dying to get right now. Is that what you're asking?
Coach, spring practice is about getting better through question marks and areas where you feel good about. Through 7 practices, where do you think the university will have gotten better so far?
Well, it ain't off the field. I can promise you that. I really think defensive back. I don't know that we've gotten better from 1 to 7, but we got better from last year to now. So from practice 1 to 7, we've had a couple guys make some busts, but it just seems like with the young players, who we got new here, Tyreek Stevenson, Lewis, there's another one, DJ. So with those 3, like I don't even think we have a defensive back coming in the fall, do we? I don't think we have another guy coming in. I think we're done there. It's like we got what we got. Well, I feel like what we got some good parts. We got some experience finally. JR staying really put us over the top because we've got this depth. And I'm not saying that we're playing like unbelievable. What I'm saying is we got guys that know what to do now. It used to be frustrating as hell to walk off the field because we had a lot of busts. Now they went through tough times last year. So that's a group. I think inside backer is really the same guys, but it's guys with 1 more year experience. And then Nakobe Dean continues to show up and make good plays. So those 2 areas were improved. Offensively, it's hard to say that because there's so little depth at receiver and tight end that you can't hardly evaluate. A bunch of guys sharing it. Kyrus, Tyler Simmons, DeAndre Swift, James Cook. Those 4. Brian's back there on kickoff return, but he was back there last year. On punt return, it's just been those 4 that are primary guys. Erdman's done a good job back there. I don't know what's going to happen there because I think that's going to be we got Don Blaylock coming in who's done it a lot, really good at it. I don't like doing that by committee or by trial by fire. I want to find that out, but it's going to come down to fall camp when we do some live kicking situations and try to figure that out. Oh, I don't mind the freshman at all. That doesn't bother me the least bit if it's the right guy. It's a guy you trust, decision-making, elite hands. I mean, this kid's baseball, punt returner, great hands, great vision. I trust him all day to protect the ball. You got to find out if he's elite as a returner, though. I'll be honest, I haven't talked to a lot of those guys a whole lot. I text them. I motivate them and say, hey, we need you. I hope you're doing something. And I'll throw them a text message once a week just to kind of fire them up. But I haven't talked to Dom a whole lot. He's come to a couple practices. Man, I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen a whole lot because we haven't punted live a whole lot. What I've noticed him is kicking. We're trying to find a backup kicker, and he's been the two behind Rod along with Brooks, and he kicks the ball. He kicks field goals really well. He gets the ball high. He gets it fast. I mean, that's what we first started recruiting him as, and then he really wanted to be a punter. So I haven't noticed a lot of the punts. I've been worried about the protection more than the punts, but we'll look at that in the fall.
But you mentioned freshmen hitting the ball in your career. Is that always going to happen? And how do those guys push through? You got a mentally sound group of freshmen.
Yeah, they always kind of hit a wall, and it gets to be where, oh, this is information overload. I've noticed that with Nakobe some. I've noticed that with the Ryan and Tresman when they're out there. Definitely with Lewis and Tyreek. I mean, they're at the point where it's like their heads just spinning, but that's okay. We have a method to our madness, and the method is you throw it at them, they get some of it. Okay, then they're going to get it again in the summer, and then they're going to get it again in fall. The third time through, they get more each time. So we don't teach at their pace. Now we'll do drills and say, hey, J.R. Reed is not going to be in this period. Let's get Lewis extra reps. Hey, Jake Fromm might not take 8 reps this period. He might take 4. That gets Stetson into 4 more. So we're trying to grow our team through spring practice and be really smart about who gets the most practice reps for those.
Seems like Malik Herring is kind of next man up right there, that defensive end position. They're going to have to earn it. But he got you a complimentary oath at the end of last season, and Jonathan Ledbetter raved about him too. What have you seen out of him this spring, and what kind of impact do you think?
Malik can be a good player. He's got to hone in and do the little things right, and he's got to be a little more mature and serious about things to be the kind of player we want him to be. He's talented though, and he's played well, but he's just got to mature some. Thanks, guys.